A very good morning and happy new year to those of you who have joined Cluster Talks for the first time this year. Welcome back, and it is my great honor to welcome you to the session, which is entitled Joint Cluster Initiatives Presenting the New Euroclusters in Strand 2. I believe that may sound a little complicated. I will try to explain what will happen here. The context, the European Commission has launched a new set of 16 cross-sectoral, interdisciplinary, and trans-European joint cluster initiatives, the Euroclusters, and they do bring together industry clusters, other economic actors to drive innovation, adoption of advanced technologies, and the development of strategic EU value chains. They also support capacity building in critical areas of European industrial ecosystems, at the same time enabling businesses, especially SMEs, to navigate the green and digital transitions by focusing on specific value chains within or across the ecosystems identified in the European Industrial Strategy. Euroclusters create synergies across borders and sectors. And to introduce the new Euroclusters that focus on different strategic value chains, the European Cluster Collaboration Platform, on behalf of the European Commission, is hosting this clusters talk. As I said in the beginning, it's called Joint Cluster Initiatives Presenting the New Euroclusters in Strand 2. My name is Jivila Kropaite. I will be moderating the session. We will have many speakers, and thank you to those who are saying thank you from various places. Good morning from Austria, someone has said, and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, and to all of you. We will first of all hear the news from the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. Euroclusters in the context of competitiveness compass and the new MFF proposal. We'll hear from DG Grow. We will also hear from the program coordination manager at the European Commission. We will then have presentations of Euroclusters, and that will be as many as 8 of them, followed by a Q&A and the funding opportunities as always. So this is the structure which we will follow. It will be packed and intensive, so bear with us. There will be some questions to involve you as well. We will use Slido to do that, to launch a poll whenever you see a QR code, which will happen in several minutes. Do scan the QR code to answer. Do use the Zoom Q&A function to ask questions. And the chat function is very active, as you can see. Hello from Romania, hello from Germany, hello from Finland, hello from Austria. So that chat is also used for links, which speakers mention. The funding opportunities, for example, Nina always does that. She also posts the links that you can all find in the chat, so it's easier for you to find them. If you want to speak, please raise your hand and we will give you the floor. Do note that the session is being recorded. The recording will be published on the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. And welcome from Copenhagen, Bulgaria, Spain to Poland, Brussels. Oh my God, we've got someone from everywhere in Europe. It's really nice to see you. And I think this is it for the housekeeping rules. And we will connect to Nina Hopman, and we will hear the news from the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. Welcome, Nina.
Many thanks, Julia, and good morning to everyone. In case you haven't done so yet, please take the survey to help shape the future EU for Business network. This is an informal external stakeholder consultation from the European Commission to design the future network, which is a new initiative proposed under the European Competitiveness Fund in the next MFF. And the initiative aims to strengthen the support for SMEs, startups, scale-ups, as well as mid-caps across the single market and streamline advisory and partnering service that are currently offered by different initiatives such as the EN or the ECCP and others. So the deadline to contribute is still the 30th of January. So you have 2 weeks left to give your opinions and to please fill in the survey to help shape this future network. If you go to the ECCP, there's a new guide available, European Frameworks and Initiatives Supporting Clusters in the Green Transition. So this is a very comprehensive slide deck that should serve as a practical guide to understand regulations, initiatives, and strategies that are all dedicated to driving the green transition. It is available in the library section of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. You have the link in the chat. So have a look at it, and it explains very well where you can find initiatives on the green transition in the different regulations. Clusters in Europe's competitiveness, the new ECCP summary report is also available on the ECCP in the library. Here, it's a comprehensive report that gives a lot of information of how clusters advance in supporting competitiveness, and also in various core priorities of the competitiveness compass, which is closing the innovation gap, decarbonizing while enabling collective action and staying competitive, and reducing excessive dependencies and increasing security by value chain diversification, and as well as accelerating technology substitution and strengthening ecosystem resilience. So have a look at the summary report. It's also available online. And last but not least, we invite you to take part in a call for evidence on simplifying the better regulation framework, which will be adopted in the second quarter of 2026. It aims to reconcile the speed of lawmaking with evidence-based policy making. So here, this call for evidence, which is open until the 4th of February, looks into how to better reconcile this policy making with the need for urgent action, how to ensure a more holistic and efficient approach to stakeholder consultation, as well as what practical tips could make EU legislation simpler and easier to implement in practice. That's all from my side, so have a look at it. The links are in the chat, and I hand over to you.
Thank you, Nina. Yes, indeed, all of the links are in the chat. So are your greetings from everywhere in Europe. We will move to presentations now, and we will first of all hear from the team leader at Cluster Policy at DG GROW, European Commission, and that will be Marek Szor, and he's with us, and he will say hello to you in just a second, I hope. Hello, Marek.
Hello and good morning and a happy new year for everyone who is joining us. Let me just put the context in which we are operating on Euroclusters. I'm happy we are starting with this because this can be as well the kind of foundation for the next financial period. We in last year, as European Commission, set the strategic framework for the work for the next Commission for next 5 years. You know, this competitiveness compass with 3 main objectives: closing the innovation gap, decarbonization, competitiveness, and reducing excessive dependencies and increasing security. This underpinned by other enabling measures like simplification of the regulations, single market in building, enhancement, financing competitiveness, skills and quality jobs and coordination. And this is kind of the framework on the basis of which European Union is operating now. Next slide, please. So in 2026, and this is the slide I just yesterday, the colleagues from the European Parliamentary Research Service, they published what they find important. But of course, the one of the main things in 2026 will be discussion on the MFF. And here we will see where clusters can be located. According to the colleagues from the European Parliament, in May 2026, the European Parliament is going to adopt the interim report on this, and as in December 2026, the MFF objective is to be at least approved. So let's see how it goes. I point out on this, but of course the main from the European Commission point of view is our work program, and on the basis of what the slide I've shown before on the competitiveness compass, we are launching a set of activities. One of the most important, of course, is the simplification with the range of different omnibuses in chemicals, in automotive. Clusters should follow what is the development in this areas, because this is about simplification to make business easier in the EU. And then there are some other very important acts that are going to be discussed and launched, adopted this year. One of them is procurement. Another one is Innovation Act, Chips 2 Act. There is going Biotech Act to on industrial. Lots of activities. You can Google a program from the Commission, and this is going to be very intensive year again. This still in the first quarter, and we will have cluster talks on Industrial Accelerator Act, which is going to be adopted and published till within next month. So we have as well the Cyprus presidency starting, and their motto is on an autonomous union open to the world, autonomous with security, autonomy through competitiveness, autonomy in the world. So we have Cyprus with the main motto of Europe being autonomous. Next slide, please. So as I said, the MFF discussions, this is something which is going to be very hot here in Brussels. And right now, everyone is working on the basis of the draft of the European Commission proposal of last year. And this is built in 3 blocks. The first block is, of course, the one which is going to be tailored to the local needs, based on national and regional partnership plans, shared management. The second block, this is on competitiveness, and here I will talk later a bit longer on this, because it's very relevant for Euroclusters here. Why the first one is very relevant for clusters at local level, the second one is very relevant for our EU dimension, and then a global Europe as an instrument making us stronger in the world and going beyond. And in going beyond, we need to be more consolidated, having bigger scope and scale. So next slide, please. This 2 trillion total amount proposed by the Commission is split in these 3 parts, and 450 billion is foreseen for the European Competitiveness Fund, with the logic that it covers here what innovation gap is talking about, research and industry together, so that there is whole investment journey from research to manufacturing infrastructure deployment is covered, and we can have a smooth move from research to application and commercialization. And here I want to draw your attention to the European Competitiveness Fund. And this European Competitiveness Fund, which covers with 234 billion euro, already identifies 4 main topics. Yeah? The highest one is resilience and security. Half of the money foreseen for resilience and security, defense, industry, and space. Then we have digital leadership with 50 billion euro, and then health, biotech, agriculture, and bioeconomy with 20 billion euro, and decarbonization, clean tech in 26 billion euro. In this framework, at the very top priority level, we will work. And of course, right now, as I already presented, this is still and is discussed in Parliament, in the Council, the agreement to be reached. Next slide, please. So in all of this, we have an extremely big and important asset, which is the EU cluster community. This is our EU single market asset. So we have many companies, SMEs, large enterprises, research organizations. This is natural asset which we need to use better for our single market. Single market with 450 million people, 26 million companies, huge market, and still a single market can be better exploited with the help of clusters. That's why we have Euroclusters, but about this later. Next slide, please. So I want to pick one of the articles in the European Competitiveness Fund so that you think about the future as well. Article 16, Single Market Value Chains Builder. And this is what we propose as the Commission, to have a special instrument which is dedicated to value chains scale up. And I hope the Euroclusters can be foundation for this kind of activities, which show support project preparation and crowding in of public and private capital to integrate suppliers, manufacturers, and innovators. And I don't need to tell you what value chain we mean. Everyone in clusters knows Porter's value chain. We are going in this direction, in this concept at the EU level. Next slide, please. And here, of course, one of the most important things is and weaknesses that were identified in Draghi report is the innovation gap, and in startup and scale-up strategy that we proposed, this is very much highlighted. These two particularly important weaknesses at the EU level. One is when we have results of research that we have marketable product which we can sell, is this first death valley that we have, and the second value of that is the probably more important, and that's why the integration and single market capital level is important, is when to scale up, and for this so we will work on this. Next slide, please. So with this context, we have as well, you can imagine Euroclusters, how they can fit into the whole picture at the EU level. We've launched the second call. The first 8 Euroclusters were presented last month. The 8 Euroclusters will be presented today. The first 8 were focused on Net Zero Act and Critical Raw Materials Act. The other 8 are like more diversified with textiles, with defense, with agri-food. But the point is that this can create, and we hope ignite, some partnerships which can further work at EU level. Important here, 75% goes to SMEs, and this is something that is cascade funding is one of the features of this Euroclusters call. Next slide, please. And I'm going to just recall the main objective of Euroclusters is innovation and adoption of new processes. And as you already, we used the Slido last month, and you rightly prioritize funding of innovative solutions, network and knowledge transfer. This is the objectives. Next slide, please. And I will be finishing. So this Euroclusters covers 16 projects, 107 partners from 26 countries, and we believe already this Euroclusters contribute to the competitiveness compass, as they are definitely going to help in closing the innovation gap, accelerate decarbonization and net zero and competitiveness in net zero sectors, and strengthening resilience. And we build as well on the experience of our Eurocluster 1. And for this, my colleague from SMEA, Valentino, will give you some insights, highlights from our successes of the Eurocluster 1 projects. Thank you very much, Zybila, and thank you very much, and happy New Year once again to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Marek. Just before we move to Valentino, would you just say in one sentence, what is our main message to Euroclusters today?
Main message to Euroclusters today is start creating partnerships so that we build scale and scope at EU level, supporting SMEs, but very much important is in the areas. So if you are supporting SMEs, think strategically that it's kind of portfolio of projects which can build value chains. And scale and is the motto of this, and targeting something which is called control point or pain point or choke point in the value chain, so that we find solutions.
Thank you. Yes, and you did mention the value chains scale-up instrument, and we will move to Valentino Izzo now, who is a program coordination manager at SMEs, European Commission. The floor is yours, Valentino. We are all ears.
Thank you, Svile, and good morning, everybody. So Marek just explained a bit the policy context in which Euroclusters initiatives come to play now. And in a previous cluster talk, we presented the first 8 Euroclusters from the Strand 1, and soon after me we will hear from and we will familiarize with the remaining 8 projects from Strand 2. But as Marek recalled, this is building on the results of a previous Eurocluster, first generation of Euroclusters. They started in 2022. And we can now draw some preliminary conclusions on their results and short-term impact. So, and in these few minutes I have today, I want to enlighten a bit our audience about on that. So on the first Euroclusters, I recall we had 42 million grants that benefited 30 cluster partnerships. Altogether, there were 171 beneficiaries from 23 countries, covering all industrial ecosystems. Overall, these projects closed very recently. So the last project ran until end of October 2025. Overall, they all contributed to the 5 objectives of the call: building resilience and accelerating the twin transition. But next slide, please. To be more concrete, let's see some figures about it on the main results. So these projects, they all developed value chain interlinkages in the EU single market, strengthening resilience of the industrial ecosystem. And as you see on the slides, as a result, 219 resilience, preparedness, and business continuity plans have been developed, ensuring agile and adequate reaction to any supply chain disruption we might face in those ecosystems. They overall supported 502 new to firms products and services, helping to decrease reliance on critical inputs and technologies. And just to give a concrete example out of them, the company BCM Vision was received the support of the Epicenter Acceleration Program, and they received mentoring trainings, collaboration opportunities, and this contributed to accelerate the development and scaling up of their solution, which is a solution based on AI and deep learning technologies for an automated visual inspection of canning lines. We are talking of food and beverage sectors. These projects also supported almost 2,000 SMEs in adopting processes and technologies that improve resource efficiency. Another example, the project Sileo funded a project that investigates how 3D printing components can revolutionize the furniture industry, incorporating recycled materials, reducing waste and energy consumption. Overall, they organized trainings. Almost 2,000 cluster employees and over 2,700 SMEs were helped to foster upskilling and reskilling of the workforce. But they also went international, boosting access to global supply and attracting foreign direct investments. More than 3,500 SMEs benefited from internationalization services. And so far, we know that 237 collaboration agreements have been signed as a result of these actions with entities in third countries. Next slide. Most of these results were possible thanks to cascading funding schemes that were adopted. And these cascading funding schemes brought basically the money where it was the most needed, where ideas are, to innovative SMEs in all EU member states and 14 non-EU countries. Over 2,000 SMEs have been supported with 31 million euros in the past generation. But then there are also results I would like to mention because they are not captured in KPIs and maybe don't add up in significant numbers, but are still very, very important. For example, the Euroclusters in the cultural and creative industries joined forces into a common meta cluster that covers almost all Europe. Similarly, the project Gemstone created last September, the European Cluster Alliance for Green Manufacturing. There are projects like Desire that leveraged more than 1 million in additional private investments. And there are other projects like Epicenter that match the solutions offered by innovative SMEs to challenges faced by big corporates. Next slide. All these figures we've seen, they certainly are impressive, I believe, and they certainly give you a good picture of and sense of what impact it was achieved. But as we say, figures are cold, and I want to also give you in 1 minute some flavor of the concrete projects and cases, good practices that were behind these figures. So I picked up quite randomly the case of this Eurocluster Recenter. That is a project that was focused on a triangle of sectors: furniture, interiors, IT, and energy. You can see on the slide the key achievements in a snapshot that were achieved. But if we go to the next slide, I will walk you through. Some concrete examples of what was produced. So they have mapped and profiled almost 1,500 entities in the concerned ecosystems all over Europe. They have developed a training ebook that compiles together in a publicly accessible PDF document all the trainings they provided, featuring direct links with 2 presentations to the webinar recordings and additional resources. This is all available. They also developed business continuity plans for the 3 sectors involved, combining desk research with surveys and expert working groups. Next slide. And also want to show you just one of the 20 projects that have been receiving cascading support from the project Recenter is this Euripot that is transforming discarded gardening plastic products into high quality in and out planters. Next slide. To conclude, this is only, as I said, one example among the many. On the slide, you see the whole picture, the overall picture of the 30 projects from the first Eurocluster call. There are really a lot of resources that are out there. Results of these projects are available. Most of them are publicly available on the internet. So I really invite you to, it could be further exploited. I think what my recommendation would be to you to look at the names of the project in your domain, in your sector, and go to look for more information on ECCP, but also on the funding and tender portal. There is a new page on results where all deliverables that were, well, unless they were sensitive or confidential, are published. So you can find many more information, many more examples like the one I gave you in this presentation. And with this, I conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Valentino. There is a question from Mirak from Turkey, and I hope that you will be able to answer it, you or Marek, but I will first of all read it out. Does a cluster need to be ready for the call application, or should a cluster be established within the scope of the project?
I'm not sure. The question is about the cascading call, to access the cascading call, or
This is what I understand. I mean, maybe
yeah.
Mirak could also expand on this, but I think this is what the question is about, and it is asking
Yeah.
whether, a cluster should be established within the scope of the project, or should it
Yes.
already be ready?
So the cascading calls are targeting SMEs, not clusters, not intermediary organizations. So the calls are really for the members of the cluster mainly. Most of the calls are, the calls might be targeting a specific sector or specific challenges in one industry domain, but there are also projects, initiatives that are cross-sectorial. The only discriminant is that these calls are there to fund innovative projects, innovation, new to firm products or services. So I would invite you to monitor either on ECCP or on the funding and tender portal the first cascading calls of this second generation of Eurocluster will be published very soon. So the project started in October, but so far no call was published yet. They are there to come in the next few weeks, I believe. So please have a look at the call conditions. Thanks. I hope
Thank you.
I
Thank
answered,
you.
or otherwise, please, maybe the person could also
Yeah, they could clarify if they
clarify.
need more
Yes.
details. Yes, and there is a question from Jorge, which I hope will be answered very, very soon in the upcoming Eurocluster presentations. I will read it out just for now. What is the expected timeline for the call, and what would the funding rate be? So we hope to be clear on that one very soon. Before we move to the presentations, your cluster presentations, let's join Slido.com, or you can go to slido.com and put in the hashtag Euroclusters2, or you can simply scan the code and it will take you right where you need to be. And where you need to be is the question which we are asking you. It's a multiple choice question this time. We will have as many as three questions. So relax, sit back, and type in something or choose something that you find the most relevant. Have you participated in any Eurocluster related activity in the past years? I was part of a Eurocluster. Not yet. I joined networking activity, an international trip, an event, a webinar organized by a Eurocluster. This is option number 3. I participated in a training offered by a Eurocluster is a question, an option number 4. And I have received funding from a Eurocluster. There is that option as well to choose, and no one has chosen it yet, and no one has received funding from the Eurocluster, which is hopefully the future and will be answered differently in future Eurocluster polls. But for now, most of the people, I would say nearly roughly half, have not participated in any Eurocluster related activity in the past years. And part of a Eurocluster, 1/3 of you has been part of the Eurocluster. And some of you joined a networking activity, an international trip, an event, or a webinar organized by a Eurocluster. So I would say it would be fair to summarize that more than half of you have, in a way, interacted with a Eurocluster or have been part of a Eurocluster, which is good to know and good news for us. So thank you for those responses. How can you see your organization benefiting from a Eurocluster and its activities is the next question that we are posing and that we are asking. And thank you for typing. For participants are already typing, I would advise all of you to simply scan the code and type in whatever you find relevant. How can you see your organization benefiting from a Eurocluster and its activities? new contacts, joint proposals, collaboration, joint initiatives, training, funding for cluster development, FSTP, deliver value to our members, training, cluster of circular economy, adapting to the new market rules, benchmark, funding, joint proposals. I think 3 are appearing as the most common ones. Joint proposals, funding, joint initiatives, collaboration, funding and joint proposals, the main 2, and there's many other keywords. Some of them overlap and a bit of a different wording, but this is how actively you're participating. And these are the most relevant issues to you: joint proposals and funding. I'm going to mark that down: joint proposals and funding. This is how you would want to benefit, and we believe that you can benefit from a Eurocluster and its activities. Thanks a lot. Thank you for participating in this poll. Yes, joint proposals and funding. Last but not least, how can Euroclusters contribute to building EU value chains? This is again a tough one because we would have to type your questions, but you've managed with the previous task super well. So thank you very much for that. And this is the last question, I promise. Meta clusters, collaboration. Meta clusters, again, structure of ecosystems at EU level, connecting different but complementary industrial ecosystems, interlinking ecosystems by supporting innovative projects, co-creation, interlinking ecosystems. I think I've already mentioned that before. Collaboration and meta clusters. How can clusters contribute to building EU value chains? We've still got a couple of minutes because we see 10 participants are still typing. So please continue to do that, and we'll see what comes up in the cloud as the most important word. And this time it is collaboration. And shall we say meta clusters? Because I think it's a bit bigger than some other keywords, but collaboration most definitely comes up as the most important keyword. So clusters can contribute to building EU value chains by collaborating. Thanks for that message. Thank you for that summary that I can make, and many, many keywords that are still in your answers. Thanks a lot. Euroclusters in Strand 2. We will hear from 8 Euroclusters, and we will start with boosting innovation and sustainability in Europe's textile industry through cross-border partnerships, and we'll Elevatex, and we'll hear from Dectera International and Development Director Robin Odon. Welcome, and we are eager to hear from you.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. So my name is Robin, and I work at the French Innovation Cluster, Dectera, in France as the Director of International and Development Service. And since October, I coordinate the Elevatex project, which gathers 5 partners. It's the result of a long-term cooperation with, for us, with 4 other clusters in Europe, with CITEV in Portugal, entity in Italy, and with 2 Spanish partners, Ateval and Textilscat. And this project addresses the entire textile value chain, and also acknowledging its applicative markets. So not only the traditional ones, but also markets such as transports, defense, or infrastructure. We also included in the project the topic of the twin transition of the industry, which of course is a key topic at the moment. So the green transition in order to support SMEs in lowering their environmental impact or developing improved circular value chains, and also the digital transition transition to support the modernization and improved efficiency of their processes, and all of this, of course, under the umbrella of increasing their competitiveness at the international level. Next slide, please. I listed here the three main activities that we will have during the project. The first one is, of course, the implementation of two calls, two cascade funding calls. The first one will be opening in June. It will be for individual textile SMEs for project lasting 6 months. The call will be open for 2 months for SMEs to answer, and it will mainly address textile SMEs that are in the final steps of preparing the market launch of an innovative product or an innovative service in connection with the improvement of circularity or digital capacity. And the next call will open in 1 year, February 2027, and it will be addressed to a consortia of two entities, textile SMEs, and solution providers for supporting the twin transition of the SMEs. And very briefly, the other activities that we'll have is the implementation of activities within strategic partnerships with entities from applicative markets of textile and solution providers for our twin transition during the project, but also after the project. And then we will have international support for textile companies to the USA and Japan with the organization of 2 exploratory missions starting in 27. I'm already finished my 3 minutes, so I put in the chat the links to our LinkedIn and ECCP profile and leave the place for the next presenter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I can see that the links are already in the chat, Elevatex LinkedIn and the ECCP profile. Thanks for that presentation. We will stay with textiles, future-proof textiles, supporting digital transformation and green innovation among textile SMEs. And we will hear from a project manager at Greenwin LLC, Olena Mariuk. Welcome.
Hello. Good morning. Thank you, Civil, and good morning, everybody. My name is Olena Mariuk. I represent Ukrainian SME. We are a recycling company. We recycle hard wastes, following all principles of circular economy and sustainable development. And we are more than happy to be a part of this network and of our project, namely Future Proof Textile. And today I would like to briefly introduce you information about this project. The project is 36 months, funded by EU, and is focused on strengthening the digital and green resilience of textile SMEs. And the project addresses a key challenge faced by many textile SMEs across Europe, and namely its limited access and limited capacity to adopt advanced digital technologies and circular economy practices, despite strong market pressure and regulatory demands. The coordinator of the project is Technical University from Greece, and the partners are research institutions and experts from Italy, Spain, Bulgaria, Turkey, and again from Ukraine. The Future Proof Textile supports 40 textile SMEs through a cascade funding mechanism, providing €50,000 per SME, combined with additional services like training, mentoring, and innovation collaboration spaces. The funding is equally dedicated to digital innovation such as automation, AI, and data-driven processes, also green innovation, including circularity, waste reduction, and sustainable materials. Next slide, please. Yeah, the objectives are following. to accelerate adoption of digital tools and technologies, as I've already mentioned. Again, promote circular economy and sustainable practices, build SME capacity with training, mentoring, technical support, and of course, foster cross-border cooperation and SME networks. The expected impact is measurable. 40 SMEs will implement transformative digital and green projects that can be also replicable within Europe and other countries. Increased resilience, competitiveness, and sustainability, contribution to EU Green Deal and digital transition goals. About replicability, I've already mentioned. So the best practices will be awarded, of course. That's it. And we believe that one tree will never be a forest, and that's why partnership is a strong philosophy of business network. We are open for cooperation. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Elena. I just want to briefly ask you, when you say that textiles in Europe are experiencing limited access and capacity to adopt circular economy practices, how specifically would you round up partnerships can help here?
Through internationalization, through joint projects, and all these categories will be outlined in our open call guideline.
Thank you very much, Elena. We have now listened to two presentations, and we will move to the third one. GATE 5.0, Accelerating the Green and Digital Transformation of the Agri-Food Sector Using Agriculture 5.0 Technologies. Sounds complicated, but I'm sure we will find out very soon what it is all about, and we will hear from the European Project Manager, Digital Cluster of Catalonia, Isabel Botey. Isabel, welcome to our session.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having us today. So I will be explaining and introducing you to the Eurocluster GATE 5.0. GATE stands for Green and Digital Transition for Sustainable European Agri-Food Ecosystem, and the project is led by 4 partners. Innov-Cluster from Portugal, we have Agri-Food Capital from the Netherlands, Betavia from Lithuania, and Cluster Digital of Catalonia as coordinators. And together we have started to work closely with our regional ecosystem of agri-food companies and technological providers to support our shared goal, which is to help SMEs in both sectors turn innovation into real solution within the next 3 years. So what are the objectives of GATE 5.0? First, we want to provide this financial support to SMEs and capacity building through an acceleration program that offers up to 118,500 for SME consortium, including direct funding and training. Second, we want to build this regional and transnational ecosystem connecting digital and agri-food actors. We also want to foster innovation in agri-food 5.0 by through training, mentoring, and technology validation. And finally, we also want to support these participating SMEs in global expansion with a strong focus on international markets. So next slide. How does GATE work in practice? We follow a structured acceleration journey, a model that proved to be a success in a previous Euroclusters that we coordinated from Cluster Digital, which was the Epicenter project. But before we enter to the acceleration journey, we focus first on identifying the challenges that you can see up on the slide. And this ensures that the project responds to real market demands and general real impact. Once the challenges are identified, we move to presenting technological solutions for these challenges. And then we run a matchmaking process that will connect the agri-food SME with the digital SME to offer a solution. After these partners will apply together as a consortium in the GATE 5.0 open call. So once these SMEs and consortiums enter the acceleration journey, you can see here the innovation funnel that they would enter to. This consists of 3 phases. First, we have the seed phase that will last 3 months and focuses on moving from idea to business model. And it involves 80 SMEs and SMEs receive capacity building support and direct funding. After the first evaluation, only half of them will continue into the next phase, which lasts 14 months and takes projects from prototype to validation. And after the second cut, only half of those will enter into the last phase, where they will have already market validation and real demonstrations in the environment. So where are we now? We have done the identification of real challenges in the market. We are now working on the workshops to know which solutions can cover this. And then in the next month, in February, we will be launching the call and the matchmaking process that will last open until April, and the program will start in July. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Isabel. We will stay with agri-food. We will move to GRAPA, empowering agri-food SMEs through biomass, upcycling, circularity, and internationalization. And our next speaker to be joining us is Innovation Manager at Flanders Food, Huus Verhaayen. We are ready to hear from you, Huus.
Okay, thank you very much for this brief introduction. Please go to the next slide. So GRAPA project is a project as well focusing on the agri-food sector. It's a follow-up project on the Be Resilient project, which was in the first Euroclusters call. And GRAPA is focusing on the valorization of side streams of co-products and biomass in the agri-food value chain for food companies, upcycling food, food processing companies, and all the other companies around in the ecosystem, with the idea to develop, adopt, and commercialize new and innovative products and technologies. We're focusing here not only on technology, but as well digital and the twin transition. The sector as such has quite some challenges when it comes from environmental impact, resource inefficiencies, and on top of that, we see that the consumers are shifting their preferences and we see regulatory burdens. The partnership, which is enrolling the GRAPA project, is consisting out of 6 partners, but we grow and are embedded in a bigger network, the so-called meta-clusters, the ingredients for a circular economy network within Europe, in which we have already 15 partners involved from 8 countries, representing 26 and that's 2 regions. And in total, with this partnership, with this I4C meta-cluster, we reach out to more than 3,000 companies, which are a member in our network. The objectives of the GRAPA project is supporting the SMEs, of course, through financial support, but as well networking, training, and skills development, and implement systemic innovation. Next slide, please. Okay, how do we do this? We have a 3-step approach within the project. The first pillar is learn and connect, in which we really develop this system thinking as an overarching methodological approach to create new business opportunities. Apart from that, there's the knowledge acquisition and capacity building, in which we give training to clusters in growing their expertise on the competences on system thinking. There will be technical trainings, and we develop a skills hub for SMEs, which they can find training materials. There's internationalization activities, and we are building strategic collaborations and networks through this first phase with the development of this agri-food biomass upcycling networks and the organization of our second European Food Biomass and Bioeconomy Summit in spring 2027, which will include a symposium, but as well a pitch and connect session for all the SMEs that are receiving support. In the second pillar, demonstrating commercialization, of course, there's the biggest budget of the project going to financial support in the innovation scheme, and we will support the internationalization activities. The third pillar is more at the end, scaling up. So we will be further supporting companies receiving financial support. And the integration with the policymakers at European and regional strategies will be done through the development of a policy support document. Main important thing here, upcoming next for the SMEs in Europe working in the agri-food sector on upcycling biomass and food co-products is a 2 million budget of FSDP. We will reach out to at least 35 SMEs. The call will open in March of this year. There will be 2 cutoff dates in May 26 and October 26. And we expect a co-fund for each project for each company of at least 15%. You see some statistics still here on what we reach to receive here, but this is in a nutshell what we will do within the project. I've pasted the LinkedIn page of the GRAPPA project. So if you follow us on LinkedIn, you will receive all the information and updates on the project. And this is where I close this short presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hughes. And as we are halfway through the Euroclusters presentations, I want to briefly go back to the question, what is the expected timeline for the call and what would be the funding rate? And I want to just briefly say that you can all keep out on the ECCP where the calls will be published, because the dates are different, the timelines are different, and there will be calls over the next 3 years in different areas. So I would just suggest to follow the ECCP website. There are some other, I would say, technical questions in the chat. So I hope that we will address them at the end after we've listened to 4 more Euroclusters presentations. We will now move to Matt for your EU, fostering innovation in advanced materials to support EU strategic autonomy. And the speaker will be European Product Manager at Polymeris. That will be Elsa Cousin, and we are happy to have you with us.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. So I'm coordinating the Mat4EU project about advanced material for a sustainable European future. Next slide, please. So Mat4EU is a 3-year Eurocluster project. We are inside 6 partners from Spain, Poland, France, of course, Lithuania, Denmark, and Germany. And we have more than 2 million euros budget on this project. The idea of this project is really to find some solutions. This is an ambitious project on the 8 challenges that are facing the actors of the value chain of advanced materials. So in these challenges, of course, you know a part of them because they are common with other sectors also. For instance, there is the fragmentation of the R&I ecosystem, the insufficient private investment, the lack of progress also in terms of circularity, digitalization. The innovation processes are a bit too long in terms of digitalization too. There is a disconnection between innovative research and industrial application, a lack of testing infrastructures. The absence of harmonized standards too, and the training is not so very well spread nowadays. Next slide, please. So inside Mat4EU project, we are covering, as I said before, many countries, and of course all the other European countries are covered by the projects. In terms of materials, the advanced material, there is a European definition of this term. There are materials that have specific properties, and so inside this project we are covering polymers, composites, ceramics, and metals. So many materials are covered in this project, and also 6 huge sectors as mobility, aerospace and defense, construction, agri-food, and in a larger way, packaging, renewable energy, and health. Inside this project, the idea is really to support SMEs. We will help 46 SMEs with cascade funding. So we will have 2 open calls and 2 cutoffs. So four in at least. And the idea with these 2 open call is one to first to help them with the production of products with advanced material and also with the processes of advanced material. We will also support SMEs in terms of internationalization, because this is an important thing also with advanced material, and with training also. In terms of information about the open call, for the moment, we know that there will be 2 open call, 2 cutoff, and the first ones will be published just before the summer. And we are currently working on the topics of these open calls, and that's why we need you also to help us to know what are the priority, in your opinion, on the advanced materials. So there is currently a survey that is published. You can find it on LinkedIn or everywhere if you are searching for Mat4EU survey. So feel free to answer this survey, to let us know who is interested by the call, SMEs, but also large group or research center, or everyone can answer this survey. So it will help us identify the organization and also the scientific priorities that we should target in the open calls. Next slide, please. And that's it for Mat4EU. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I was just wondering whether you will post the link to that survey in our chat, because I think that will be also easier for people to fill it out. So thank you very much.
Of course.
And I see that you're saying that you're confirming that you will post it. So we will be eager to find it. Citadel, advancing Europe's security ecosystems through green and digital innovation. European Project and Marketing Innovation Manager at Systematic Paris region, Alain Denis, and we give the floor to you now.
Thank you. So hi, everybody. Yes, I'm Alain Denis from Systematic, which is a deep tech cluster based in the Paris region. So I'm going to present you the Citadel project. The project has a duration of 36 months, and it's funded by the Single Market Program, as you know, Eurocluster. Among the consortium, we have 6 partners, 3 from France, so ourselves, Systematic, Actantis, and SAFE. We have 1 partner from Romania, Cluj IT, 1 from Lithuania, L3CE, and 1 from Finland, the Tampere Security Cluster. So our main mission is to support innovation and networking through new processes and advanced technology, especially on the security value chain. The key vision that we have in the consortium is to try to reinforce the resilience of European critical infrastructure that are facing emerging threats, and by leveraging synergies between digital and the green transition. Concerning the strategic objectives, we are going to work via a cascade funding project. And our idea is really to try to stimulate the collaboration between both digital companies and the security sectors, to accelerate the adoption of all types of innovative digital technologies in the security sector also. Of course, to improve the resilience of European critical infrastructures and to facilitate the access to security market for innovative SMEs. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned before, we are going to work on open calls. So we'll have 2 open calls, and the total budget will be around 2 million euros. We aim to found 33 projects, which each project is going to be financed up to 60,000 Ks. And we aim to have 2 partners per project. So the 3 main domains based on the Citadel project are critical infrastructure, resilience, and urban environment. So the SMEs we are targeting for the critical infrastructures are the ones that are working on the following sectors: energy, water, transport, healthcare, and digital infrastructure. On the domain based on resilience, we are going to target SMEs that have experience in natural disaster, green transition, technological risk, and service continuity in case of crisis. And finally, concerning urban environment, SMEs that have projects based on smart cities, sustainability, green transition, linkage, and large event that are gathering crowds. And finally, to the main objectives of those cascade funding projects are to answer those questions about risk assessment. So, of course, the identification and evaluation of the potential threats and vulnerabilities of the projects, and also the second theme is prevention. So, our idea is to measure and mitigate the risk and protection against identified threats, detection of system for monitoring and identifying security incidents in real time. Concerning the response is to try to have immediate actions to address and contain security incidents. And finally, recovery to restore the restoration of system and business continuity after the incidents. So that's it for the presentation of the Citadel project, and I'm looking forward to discuss with the potential partners.
Thank you very much, Alain. There are some questions coming up. I will address them later, but I think I'll choose one for now. Are usually the calls for SME participation open for all SMEs in Europe, Lucia is asking, meaning SMEs from countries other than those of the consortium partners can apply for funding of the Eurocalls, to which Valentina has responded, and I hope that the response might be useful for others as well. That's why I will quickly read it out. Absolutely, calls are open to all EU and other SMP associated countries. In addition, there is a minimum threshold of 10% of funded SMEs that must come from countries other than those of the consortium members. So this is a very clear response. Thank you for that. We will move to crew in heritage, driving cross-sectoral innovation in Europe's cultural heritage value chain. EU project manager at Venetian Cluster, Carlotta Campanini.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Carlotta, and I represent Venetian Cluster that is based in Venice, Italy. And today I'm very happy to present the Crew in Heritage project that focuses on European cultural heritage. That is just not our past, but it can be the foundation of Europe's future and massive engine for economic innovation. Our ambition is to transform the European cultural heritage value chain into a model for strategic autonomy. And by unlocking the creative potential within this sector, we aim to build a more resilient, green, and digital advanced economy. So we aren't just looking at museums and monuments, but we are looking at a hub where we can merge different sectors from digital, health, agribusiness to collide and innovate together. About our consortium, our strength lies in collaboration. So Crew in Heritage is a strategic merger of two previous Euroclusters, the France CCI and the Creatrive Euroclusters. As you can see from my screen, our collaboration brings together 10 partners from 9 EU countries, and Venetian Cluster is coordinating the project, and the partnership stretches from Lithuania to Spain. In my next slide, I would like to share with you how our vision become action. So this is a focus on our call for proposal. The call is going to be only one, divided in two strands. In two strands, but also in two steps. So this means the first steps of the call will open in February, and we will welcome project ideas for both strands. The first one is related to product innovation, while the second one is for business and process innovation. About the step one, we will select some valuable ideas after they all will be going through a capacity building action. In this action, we provide intensive support to applicants to make them build a stronger idea. The second step is instead welcoming the full project proposal. So the first ideas to be selected will apply to second step. And we aim to financially support at least 4 SMEs in 20 cross-cutting innovation projects. So 10 projects about product innovation, Strand 1, and 10 about process and business innovation, Strand 2. I will leave you the slide so that you can maybe read better all the criteria, but let's continue with the last one. That is more about the results and long-term impact that the project would like to have. So we are recalling here the main results to achieve with the Crew Inherited Eurocluster that are divided in 4 pillars. The first one is more about the technological independence. So this means we would like to identify EU technologies that can reduce our dependence on no-EU suppliers, in this case linked to the cultural heritage value chain. Then the second pillar should be more supporting innovation and skill development. So here are the support of the Cascade project. And then a lasting partnership. So all the partners within this Eurocluster are also part of the meta-cluster meta-cluster that is called Creativity Europe. And what we would like to do with this meta-cluster is continue the partnership and become a point of reference in the value chain. And lastly, the communication and events of our project are for a global awareness, so providing the word that the cultural heritage and proving that the cultural heritage is a high-tech, high-growth industrial ecosystem as well. So thank you for your time. I will leave you in the chat the links for following us and to be up to date to our calls. Thank you.
Thank you. And also in the chat, I saw Nina's message. If we talk about specific slides that you would have wanted to dwell on, the slide deck will be published on the ECCP after the webinar. So you can go back and check for the Eurocluster of your interest later. Last but not least, ECDI, strengthening Europe's leadership in drone technologies for civil and dual-use applications. And with us as European Project Manager, Aerospace Valley, Laure Vidal. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. The European Cluster for Drone Innovation, or ECDI project, is a 30-month project that seeks to structure and reinforce the European drone innovation ecosystem by fostering collaboration, sharing expertise, and supporting innovation and technological development among SMEs. On the next slide, you will see the team that will work on this project. We are 4 European clusters. So the first one is Aerospace Valley from France. Then we have Andalusia Aerospace from Spain that will be in charge of all the environmental and digital expertise in the project. Then we will have the Silesian Aviation Cluster from Poland that is in charge of the communication and dissemination of the project. And finally, we have the All-Ukrainian Association of Innovative Space Clusters that is a Ukrainian cluster that will be in charge of the dual-use expertise during the project. Next slide, please. Oh, there is a lot of mistakes on the slide. Sorry for that. I will share once more the final slide with you after. So the activities of the project, we will have 3 open calls during which all the SMEs will have access to the activities that are on this slide. So environmental and digital services, dual-use services, access to a European network that we will be creating during the project that is a meta-cluster on the drone ecosystems in Europe, access or help to access internationalization activities such as participation in fairs and events across the outside EU countries, and finally training or upskilling and reskilling, let's say, for the SMEs on the topics that are linked to the environmental, digital and dual-use services. Finally, on the next slide, you will have the overall overview of the open calls of the project. The first one is the civil open call, or the civil drone innovative program that we called, that will gather 25 projects, mono projects, so single partners. This open call will open hopefully this week or next week. So I will send you also the link for that in the chat just after my presentation. It's dedicated to civilian SMEs that will want to improve or modify their product or processes to achieve a dual-use application in their product or reach a new market in that sense. The second open call is a dual-use open call that will gather hopefully 10 single projects as well, that is dedicated to SMEs that already have a dual-use product that wish to transition or launch their environmental and digital transition in their processes. And finally, the last open call is a dual use. So it's a project that will be for 2 SMEs together that will gather 10 SMEs for 5 projects then, and is the main, the theme is the same, as the dual use open call that I've just explained. These 2 will occur so this summer and next year in 2027. And that's it on my side. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you everybody, all of the Euroclusters, for your presentations. We still have a couple of minutes, and I see that questions are appearing. Some of them I will read out loud. Can a new partner cluster join a Eurocluster? Was a question from Annie, I think, to which Valentino Izzo has replied. And I don't know, Valentino, maybe you want to speak out and answer that question live because it may be relevant to everybody.
Of course, Civile. Yes, indeed. I did reply also in the chat, so you can refer to that. But basically, it is possible, in principle, it is possible to change the consortium composition and add a new partner, either beneficiary or an associated partner, for example, which is a partner that is not receiving a grant but contributes to the action. It will require an amendment, obviously. It's in the remits of the Euroclusters consortium to decide if this adds value to the project or not. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. There was also a question from Benjamin whether a recording will be available. And yes, I just want to say that the recording will be published on the ECCP page of this event. There was also a question specifically to crew and heritage. Do you also consider immaterial cultural heritage, for example, local knowledge leading to specific crafts, languages, or others?
Yes,
to
yes,
which...
we do. Sorry
yes,
to interrupt.
do you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
expand?
we do.
Okay, do you want to expand a little?
Yes, of course. Well, we welcome proposals that cover natural cultural heritage, but also intangible cultural heritage. So all the things that you were asking for, they are eligible. What is eligible is that we also welcome SMEs from different sectors from cultural heritage. This means that the cultural heritage can be innovated also from other ecosystems. So this is the interlinkages and the collaboration that we aim to fund with this call. Thank you.
Thanks. And also Laura has responded from Open Hub. She said that they do consider immaterial cultural heritage. You can learn more about the project on the links Carlotta provided above. So yes, there are links. There are links to everything that you can refer to. And I was wondering, since we still have a couple of minutes, if there is the last burning question, raise your hand or type it right now. Other than that, I will probably choose one of the some of the speakers to answer some of the questions that may not have been covered. how does the meta cluster appeared as an important bit in one of the Slido questions? Maybe someone would want to put an emphasis on how does the Eurocluster initiative foster the creation of meta clusters across Europe. Does anyone have any ideas? Valentino is raising his hand, and Hughes. Let's ask Hughes first because he has spoken less than Valentino so far.
Thank you. Sorry, Valentino. I want to stress that the importance of Euroclusters for the support and the development of meta clusters in Europe is crucial, because if we overlook the support mechanisms in Europe that direct immediately to clusters, to the development of clusters, to their activities, how they support through the clusters the SMEs, then we see that Euroclusters is a very important program for us. And thanks to Euroclusters, we're capable of, within the bigger scope of ingredients for a circular economy, which is an S3 partnership, but is considered as a meta cluster in its existence. We collaborate over 26 regions in Europe, and we are there with 15 clusters together to collaborate. And it's thanks to Euroclusters that we can collaborate, that we can take joint initiatives to support our SMEs and to build those resilient value chains from a place-based perspective, but within the collaboration with the other regions. So yes, for me, Euroclusters is very important to that.
Thank you. I think Carlotta wanted to briefly add on this.
Yes, thank you so much. I don't want to be repetitive, but of course, since we are also representing a meta cluster that is the CREU meta cluster, Creativity Europe, we want to thank you, the Eurocluster program, because this was crucial for us to create a collaboration together, to know each other, to start working together. And since collaboration is the base of each network, for us this was really crucial because the meta cluster was funded last year, and now we already have 11 countries, and we are continuing to work to represent the European geography countries. And we would like to reach all the countries' representation in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the very final question will come from an anonymous attendee. It's written in the Q&A, so I will read it out, and I hope that we will soon find someone to answer it. Thank you for the great presentations. Wishing all projects an impactful legacy. I have a question about the sectors represented by the 16 Euroclusters. The health sector has not been funded, while the agri-food or textile sectors have several sector-specific Eurocluster projects. Has there been an analysis as to sector-specific success factors or lessons learned for those sectors who were not successful? Will you consider balancing the representation of different sectors in potential future Eurocluster calls? This is a very good question. I believe this will go to Valentino.
Yes, I mean, I will take it because it's normally us implementing the calls, but I have to say that, I mean, if talking about the future, nothing is clear, because in this current multi-annual financial framework, there is no other Eurocluster call foreseen. So this was the last. And for the future, we will, as Marek said, we will need to wait for the agreement on the MFF. But I believe now, I might be wrong, but maybe we can come back on this. I believe the health sector is covered as well in this among these 16 projects. I might be wrong, but I think it is. There is certainly the projects are not balanced as you pointed out, in the sense that there are more projects on textile, agri-food, but this is because the call is competitive call, and these were the top quality projects, and Otherwise, we will need to create a ranking list per sector, which was also done in the past, but I cannot really say if this will be a decision for the future as well.
Okay, one final one, because a good question from Carmen appeared. From your experience, if the result of Euroclusters is a meta-cluster, is it preferable that it will be made up of clusters from different sectors, or better from the same sector, but from different regions and countries? Which one of the two would you pick as a better option? Valentino?
I don't know. Maybe Marek would also complement on this, because this is more for on the policy objective we want to reach. But in my opinion, I mean, it works certainly well, and the cases we've seen is for companies meta-cluster in the same sector. It works well when it is about connecting companies in the same value chain. So it might also be cross-sectorial somehow, but maybe linked to a specific value chain. But maybe Marek is another idea.
Hughes also wants to contribute with a word on this. Hughes,
I would
will give you
like
the
to
floor.
share. I would like to share some experience on that last question. We have seen, and we have been building as Flanders Food Innovation Cluster in Flanders. We've been building different meta clusters already in the scope of the S3 partnerships, and one particular partnership is the Smart Solutions for Agri-Food. There we combine food innovation cluster with technology providing clusters, where there's a clear cross-sectoral collaboration between the agri-food sector and the tech provider sector, where both help each other further in the way that the clusters from the food sector explain and the companies what are their real needs, while then the solution providers are there in the other clusters with the technology providers. And there's a very good cross-fertilization between the two types of clusters, but as well in different regions in Europe. So we built cross-regional value chains in Europe in that way. So it works in both ways, I would say.
Thank you. I want to give a brief word to Yemi, who's a colleague of Isabel from the digital cluster in Catalonia as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cyril. I just wanted to mention that from our experience with the Epicenter project, I think that clusters from different countries and with different specializations work together around shared industrial challenges rather than around a single sector. So this shift from sector-based cooperation to challenge-based cooperation, we believe is a key enabler of meta-clusters, as it brings together complementary capabilities across regions. So I believe Euroclusters also foster meta-clusters by providing common frameworks and methodologies. So in the Epicenter, all clusters work with shared approaches for a challenge definition that we have with the open calls, evaluation processes, and acceleration phases. So it's not about the sector. It wasn't about the sector in our case. It was more about the challenges that we identified during the program that we developed.
Yes, I feel that we have covered that one, unless Marek, you want to say a very final word, because Valentino has referred to you many times. But if you feel like this has also been answered, let's just finish off here.
Yeah, it's been answered, but it's clear that innovation is at the crossroads of different sectors, different technologies, and here Euroclusters showed it very much. And the thing is that one element is about bringing scope and scale from the industrial ecosystems together. So, like we have this heritage bringing together, which is not the case still yet in many areas. And another thing is really, and I like, Yemi, what you said, this challenge-driven Euroclusters. And I think this goes in the direction that we have an issue and we want to solve it. And in order to solve it, you need to have different sectors involved, different industrial ecosystems. And I think what we should focus in on trying to find solutions, and the solutions can be found if different parts and different technologies, different knowledge is combined, then innovation is brought into the solution. Thanks.
Thank you, Marek, and thank you very much for your questions, for your insights, for everything that we have followed today in this longish session of cluster talks. Thank you for your comments that you're still making. All of the links are still staying in the chat, but we will get more links in this chat because we will get Nina Hoffman to present financing opportunities, and I hope that she's already with us. Welcome back, Nina.
Thanks. And just to close the session, some final remarks, as always, on some open calls that might be of interest for you. One is CSA, pilot access schemes to technology infrastructures for European startups, scale-ups, and innovative SMEs. I mean, Marek has referred to the value that the startups and especially scale-ups need to overcome. So this might be an opportunity as well here. So the proposal should demonstrate several outcomes, a sound understanding of specific needs of industrial users regarding technology infrastructure service in several priority areas such as advanced materials, clean energy, health, biotech. And there should be increased opportunities for the development, testing, upscaling, and deployment of new technologies via these services, as well as working on the broadening of the range of the technology infrastructure users, especially for startups and scale-ups, including transnational access. The deadline for this call is the 21st of April. It's a Horizon call and published on the Funding Intenders portal. The link will be published in the chat. And the I3, the Interregional Innovation Investments Instrument, has an open call, the Capacity Building CAP2B. And the outcome of this Strand 2B projects are expected to have to result in increased capacities in less developed regions to strengthen their capacity to deliver on concrete interregional innovation investments within EU value chain and the capacity to tap into other funding instruments. And upon the project completion involves, SMEs will possess enhanced capacity to cooperate in interregional value chains, as well as to attract private investments or to create public-private partnerships. The deadline is the 19th of March. Of course, there's much more information on the call in the Funding Intenders portal, so have a look at it. The link is in the chat. And a last notice on if you want to access the EU funding in portals chat, there's also a new app available to easily access. So if you go to the main homepage and scroll down, there's a banner with where to download the app. So if you want to have it on your phone, that's also possible to make the access easier. Thanks for this, and have a great rest of the day. And thanks to all the speakers for the great presentations.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you to all of the speakers. And I will just quickly remind you to register for the next cluster talks. 4th of February, 11th of February, and 25th of February are the dates. And the topics are now on the slide. Industrial Accelerator Act, speeding up strategic projects, revising the EU public procurement directives, delivering impact for Europe's clusters. These are the topics, so do register if you haven't done so by now. And we will also remind you to follow the discussion, to continue the discussion on the LinkedIn discussion group for European Cluster Collaboration Platform, or ECCP is the abbreviation you want to be looking for. And use other social networks to connect to the European Cluster Collaboration Platform as well as X, Facebook, hashtags EU Clusters Talks or ECCP are also very much encouraged. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for following everything that we have to say, and thank you for your interactions. See you next time and have a good rest of the day.